Are you somebody who's on too many meetings during the week and finding it difficult to actually get your jobs and tasks completed? If you are, then watch this video and I'll showcase a little trick that will enable you to present your findings to your manager and more than likely reduce the amount of time that you're spending on meetings during the week.
So first thing you want to do is you want to download Power BI Desktop if you haven't downloaded it already. If you have, you can obviously skip this step. Where do you go to download Power BI Desktop? I'll drop a link in the description below, but if you just search Power BI Desktop download on Google, it's one of the first results here. So it's this result here. Click on download and then just follow the steps. It's relatively straightforward. After you download it, then you might want to pin it to your taskbar down here. If you search for it and then you can pin it, it's a little bit easier to navigate and open it. So the first thing you want to do whenever you do open a Power BI desktop, and this is on any real project, you obviously need data to analyze. So this button here is probably one of the most commonly used tools, at least at the start of a project. Whenever I'm doing Power BI implementations, you have your common data sources here, such as Excel, Power BI semantic models. What they are is if a company has already implemented Power BI and a developer has already implemented reports, you can actually leverage the data set that Power BI developer has built, and you can build your own reports from that. You have a SQL Server, Dataverse, Text Web. You have a lot of Power BI connectors. But what we can do is we can actually connect to Microsoft Teams. So if you go in here, you can see how many connectors there is. I think there's I'm not even going to put a number. I think there's over 300. But if you search here, there's a search feature. If we search for Microsoft Teams, you can see it here now. It did say that this is a beta, and essentially they're saying we can't guarantee that it'll work the same way as the final version. But the data does look accurate to me after doing a quick check. So that's the main thing. So if we click on continue here, we'll get an option now to connect to, this is the pane where you pick the table of data that you want. So we want to see the team's user activity. So we can see a preview of the data in here. We have the date, we have the user ID, we have and then we have these are actually seconds, and we're going to transform these to minutes, and whenever we connect them into Power Query. But you can see this is a preview of the data. So if we didn't want to do any steps to this and we wanted to actually just load it straight into our data set, we'd click load, but we do want to make a couple of changes to this. So we'll click on transform data. Again, this isn't really a Power BI tutorial, so I'm not going to spend too much time going through what this is. This is essentially Power Query, where you would use to manipulate and clean data and do some of the stuff that we're going to do. So the first thing that I notice is there's only a date field. Now, 99% of the time, a Power BI report will contain a separate date table. But in this example, just to do things quickly, I'm just going to make two separate columns using this. So I'm going to go to add a column up here. I'm going to create a custom column. I'm going to call this one month. So I'm going to have one for month only. And if you just search in month, this is M code. You type in date, month name. Then what do we want to use to generate that? We obviously need to use the date field. And then close and click OK. So there's your month. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to do week number. So we'll click the same button, type in week number. Oh, spelling is awful. And then just again, search and the M code should come up. So it's the week of the year we want. And use the date field again to generate that. Okay. Next thing that we want to do is we want to transform this into minutes. Now, this is seconds, and I know it's seconds, and I'll prove it in a second. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to the audio time, which is the one we're going to use. And we're going to go again, add a custom column. And we're going to call this audio time min. We're going to click on the audio time column, and we forgot to put in before that. So for each row, we're going to say each, and we're just going to divide it by 60. And that should give us the minutes. Now, if we scroll here, you can see now we have a minutes one, and we're going to click the whole number here. Now, I mentioned I can prove that I know how that's seconds, and I'll show how I do that now. So I'm going to just sort this descending. I was on a meeting on Monday, and I have the time So I can just prove that now. So this meeting that I was on, it's currently on the 5th of February, it's saying that it was 72 minutes. If I jump over to Teams, this is the recap. So 1 hour and 12 minutes, which is 72 minutes. So you can see there that it's fairly accurate. So one last thing that we might want to do is we might want to categorize these or put them in buckets. So first of all, you notice there's quite a few blanks. So what I would do is I would just filter those out. We don't need to look at meetings that basically don't exist. So you can see here, these are a breakout of the meetings that I've been on since December. So thankfully, not that many. But we might want to break this out into like meetings that are greater than an hour, in between 30 minutes and an hour, and less than 30 minutes. And how would we do that? We use the conditional column. So we go in here and we'd say meeting bins, for example. And you would use this then in your visual. So if the audio time minutes is greater than 60, then we want to say greater than an hour. So that's greater than 60 minutes, then it'll be greater than 1 hour. And let's say if it is greater than or equal to 30 minutes, then we want to say greater than 30 minutes. And then if anything else, then we'll just say less than 30 minutes. So now you can see then we have that field. So now to be honest, we can start building the visual. So we'd click on close and apply. Now, again, this isn't really a Power BI tutorial. It's just showcasing, first of all, a clever way to present to your manager and show that you're actually on too many meetings. It's a personal bugbear of mine. Lots of the time, there is just essentially too many meetings. And in my opinion, you should only be on a meeting if you're deciding the outcome of something, or if you are getting together. I know a lot of companies now maybe work from home 2 days, even 3 days a week. It's nice for 10 or 15 minutes for the team to get together, discuss what they're working on, any challenges they have. It builds a little bit of team culture as well, which is always nice. And it's just nice to, catch up with colleagues, etc. But sometimes I feel there's meetings about meetings about meetings. So I thought this would be a clever way just to maybe have a look and see, how much time are you actually spending per week on meetings. So you can see now the data is here. And if we wanted to bring in, let's say, a month in here, and then we have our bins here, audio time bins. So we bring them in. So you can see, first of all, this just sums up the minutes that we're on, which isn't really that helpful. So rather than sum up the amount of minutes that we're on meetings, what we can do is we can or take this out for now. So we can drag in the bins that we just created into the columns. We could make a simple matrix here where we will now drag back in that field. And again, rather than sum up the minutes, we just want to count how many meetings that we're on. So we'll click on count. So there you can see straight away, again, not the most interactive visual, but straight away you can see that in December we're on 5 minutes for less than 30 minutes and only one greater than 30 minutes. What you could do is you could build in calculations and see what percentage of your working week you're actually on meetings. So you could build up. That is when you would use the sum aggregation, and you would then multiply your 40 hours by 60 minutes, and that's your total allocated time. And if you're not familiar with any of those calculations, you can simply use ChatGPT. I'm working on creating a separate video where I go through how you can utilize ChatGPT to help with DAX.